This is The Underground World News Live. Here on this February 17th, 2025. And good evening. Yes, much love. Good to see everybody out there. Lots to cover here. Go ahead and get the mic check in. Thank you for the quick feedback there, E-Fits, Gunther, Sheepdog, much love. Steve, everybody out there, Minx, Gabe. Good to see everybody. Deanne, Gio, MC in the house, Hitman, Doug, thank you for dropping 10 memberships. Appreciated to the fullest. Welcome, everyone, to the Underground. Again, thank you for the feedback there, everybody. And a much love. I want to thank everyone also that shares the stream, gets it out there in front of eyes that I can't reach, on platforms that I may not even be on. Someone just said, why aren't you on Rumble? Because, man, I've done it all. I've been, in terms of all these platforms, trying all these things. I've been going live all the way back since the days of Ustream. People probably don't even know or remember that. I get sick of bouncing around everywhere, and I was having issues, to be honest with you, with the stream wanting to hold down. And I thought OBS had something to maybe do with it, and then potentially it kicking out to all these different places. So I narrowed it down to one place, which is YouTube for now. That's where I have the biggest following, so might as well tap into it. Fight that fight, trying to get the truth to as many people as I can, even though I'm censored to hell and back. And I'm subscribed via different emails to my own channel, and I don't even get the alerts that I'm live. But thank you. Good to see 5x5 Arizona. Much love, Christ is King in the house. Let's get this thing started. Got a lot to cover tonight. Yeah, I thought that was a nice sunset too. Start off here with the earthquake map and get some quick updates here. I want to state that the 9.0 earthquake or whatever people were trying to talk about was not a thing. South Jersey in the house. Thank you, Kevin, for the super chat. And I'll get to the weather, here in just a second. But earthquakes here first. It was reported, people were sending me things like, this person's saying that there was a 9.0 in Italy, and it kept tracking back the same person. I'm like, what the? It's like they just made it up out of thin air. I don't get it. It didn't happen. Come on now. If you'd have heard by now, like all over the place, if there was a 9 that popped off in this region, big time. And yeah, it could very well be associated with a volcanic eruption if you saw anything like that, but it doesn't have to be a magnitude 9 to be a volcanic eruption. We could still see some kind of eruption. There's a little bit of swarming going on here. It's nothing major. Just wanted to clarify that. Some people were freaking out thinking there's a huge quake. That it didn't happen. I mean, you'd be seeing it all over social media. Come on now. Houses collapsed, and I mean, it would be undeniable. You'd see it everywhere. The rest of the quake map looks kind of quiet outside of, you got one up here in Maine, and then you've got East Texas and Southern California, off the coast of California there. Some of the normal spots we see swarming. Nothing major. Gonna keep it pushing. Gonna get to the weather here, because right now, this is what threatens a whole lot of people out there. So we got another storm coming through. Actually, it's a 1-2 punch. They're saying that it's expected to bring heavy snow and ice from Kansas throughout the Ohio Valley. So they're saying the polar vortex here responsible for this again. I think they're tinkering with the weather a little bit too much. I think it's all weaponry. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I think it's all weaponry. I know they have all types of things at their disposal. I know they could be doing things to counter some of these systems, but you never see that happen. All the flooding, all the ice, all the issues, it's causing massive problems. But here we go. This winter storm coming in, and we've got areas around here that are absolutely flooded out. Try to drop a video on it. Some updates over on X, posting the images. But there's still people all around me, everywhere. They have no power. People be lucky if they knew what they were doing around here to be able to even make it into town. Hopefully tomorrow it'll be a lot better for people. There's just a lot of people in these hollers and off these back roads, man, that the water cut off and they're kind of stuck. And you gotta, if it starts to come into your home, you got to get to higher ground. And I was passing vehicles. I was passing people's property, man, and we went right by the people's house that just had their house burned down. And they're staying in a camper in the driveway, but they had all their vehicles and everything across the street by their barn. And I'm telling you, I barely saw the roofs when I went by, so they lost everything there. It's sad, man. It's super dangerous. Slips and slides all over the place. You see these people at the store and they're like, we lived here 30, 40 years and ain't seen nothing like this. And it's, outside of the past handful of years, because 2-3 years ago, it hit just the same. Wiped things out. Washed people away. Washed complete hollers out, man. It's the best way I can put it. Every trailer, every house, every little church that was in it is washed away. And unless you stand there and you see it, the devastation, the magnitude of it, it's hard to even get on video to get to grasp it all. I mean, I watched these storms. They've washed out culverts that you could drive a semi through. Massive ones that like you just don't see every day. But still, these storms, they've washed it out. And I put a lot of this on the Army Corps of Engineers. It's their responsibility to make sure that we have safe waterways. And they put it on them to manage all this stuff. And it just seems to me like a lot of these flooding events have been happening in these like mountainous areas. Just like the hurricane going into Asheville and everything else. And these are places that typically don't see that amount of water coming down that quickly. They would call it a 1,000-year flood. Okay? And then after it happens twice within 10 years, you're like, oh crap, we're going to have to call it like a 100-year flood. And Birdseye, thank you for the coffee. Thank you for the support. And then after it happens 3 times within 5 years, what do you call it? You done went from a 1,000-year flood to now what do you call it? Every 10-year flood? It's happening 3 times within 5 years. That's what we've seen down here. And 2 of them catastrophic at this point. Counting this one. Because you've got complete towns underwater. Anyway, you can't even recover from one thing. Okay? Can't even recover from one thing. And then you've got another system coming in. So, a heads up, man, everybody out there. I mean, you could see. I mean, look at this. This has got almost a foot of snow coming through Missouri here. Springfield. Like, are you ready for this? You know, I'm more or less out here in this 3 to 5. Which I don't want to see no more. Like, get me out of this winter. I don't. I'm sick of it, man. The last ice storm, we didn't have the car able to go up and down this mountain for a month. A month. It was crazy. Talking about being crippled, stranded, in a crazy position. So I felt it in terms of these attacks. So I'm just saying, heads up. I try to prepare the best as possible as anybody would, I guess, but flooding, freezing, I don't know where you're at, but we've got more coming our way. And hopefully after this is done. All right, I got an update out of Michigan. We got a big fire that took place there here today. This is Consumers Energy at their energy plant. They're saying that an electrical transformer fire took place. Broke out today. They were saying at first it was a generator that caught fire. But here they're saying it was caused by an electrical transformer outside the facility, and it spread to nearby buildings, creating significant amounts of smoke. And the initial reports had said that it had released all these different gallons of some kind of oil substance, mineral oil. So they took out all the gallons. This is the article I had. Interesting. It had an amount there. Now it's missing. It was like in the thousands. It was like 14,000 or something like that. Anyhow, that fire going down up there, and if anyone's around there and got any updates on that, let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. Local information, people that are close by that can get just on the ground information is just always better than anything else. So much appreciated. I'll relay it. Get any updates off that. That's Bay. What is that? Bay County? In Michigan there. At the Karn Complex. All right. Here's one of the big headline stories here. One of the things that took place here. Today, we have another crash. This is involving a Delta plane here that came into Toronto. It had left out of Wisconsin, or Minneapolis here. Minneapolis to Toronto. And it looks like, just look at the runway. Take a look at that. Covered in snow, covered in ice, just right where they're standing. All over here is just completely covered, but even the runway itself is just a poor job. A lot of people speculating that when this thing flipped over, it was due to ice on the ground. So it came in to make its landing, made contact with the runway, and slid. And I guess during the sliding, it rolled over on its side, and the left wing, or somehow in the whole thing, one of the wings there got torn off and was on fire. So these people very lucky that this wasn't any worse. It was billowing smoke.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down. Fire department's on site. We're upside down. Everybody, most people appear to be okay. We're all getting off. Some smoke going on.
That's surreal. You can see all the images there. So I put out on my backup YouTube channel, Surviving End Times, the old Dabu 777. I have video up over there of right when this thing crashed. And you could see this dark plume of smoke. Like this. That's just a quick clip. The clip that I put out there was about 20, 30 seconds. And, I mean, just look at that. Look at this airport, man. Like, I'd be freaked out if I was a pilot and I had to come in and I had to land in a place like this. This is crazy. But most of the people got out of this plane crash. Well, 15 injured is what they're saying right now. 15 injured, no fatalities, which is absolutely awesome news. And all we can assume here at this point, again, I got some footage here of them. This here is showing the people.
Everything, drop it.
Getting evacuated. Start it over one time.
Everything, drop it. Come on.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, well, I don't know what else someone would say.
Just on this fucking plane.
All right, he's got a potty mouth on him for sure, but you're gonna be freaked out. I mean, come on, you're walking away from this. Give me a break. If you had ever had a fear of flying, and then that's just crazy. They're lucky it didn't go up in flames. All the fuel was kept in the wings. So when that wing ripped off there, that's what, I mean, they're really lucky, man. Really lucky that everybody got out alive. I guess that's the biggest thing right there. So yeah, Toronto came in. There's the strip that it was set to come down on. You couldn't tell from the image, though, because it was like a whiteout. There were several different runways here, but they did a poor job of keeping that place clear and clean. I would never, ever. I remember I had to one time. I had to fly. I won a trip to the Marble Ranch, and I flew there. I was working out of Texas and hopped on these flights. I had to fly by myself, and I went to the Twin Cities, and I came down and landed. My heart was pounding. It was crazy looking because it was like I didn't know the two cities sat right next to each other. It was amazing looking, but it was just all covered in ice and snow, and I said, oh my gosh. And that was just beginning. I had to hop on another plane and go clear across the country into Montana and land there, and it was a whiteout. Some little airport. And it was like the scariest stuff of my life. I was like, no way, because of the turbulence. And stuff like this, man. These days, I'll drive there. I'll see you in a few days. Y'all can fly. I'm driving. That's just how I feel about it. Yeah. So, I mean, we're seeing too many incidents these days. I mean, they're happening one after another. But thankfully, again, nobody killed on this. I know there's some injuries, but man. Yeah, I bet you within the week or so we'll have another one to report on. See if I got any other clips here off this one. No. all the same ones. All right. Yeah. Oh, and I gotta share with you guys here this one. This is a wild clip out of Chile, right off the coast. A man and his son are out here, and he's filming his son here, and he gets swallowed by a freaking whale, and it spits him back out. You don't see this every day, and dude's lucky to be alive. But I've seen a lot of crazy, wild footage, and this is real. Dude gets swallowed up, spit out. Here we go. I'm gonna run this. I'm gonna start it over one time. He's under. Spit out. Just that quick.
Ya, vente, vente. Tranquilo, agarra el bote, agárralo, tranquilo, agárralo. Agárralo, agárralo, no te subas, agárralo. Tranquilo, agárralo. Agárralo, agárralo, vete para la orilla. Tranquilo, tranquilo.
What are you doing out there in this weather?
De la cuerdita.
In a little raft anyway.
Agárrate de mi cuerdita. Tranquilo, agárrate de mi cuerdita. Agárrate de mi cuerdita de atrás, no me tumbes, no me tumbes. Eso, tranquilo, tranquilo. Tranquilo, tranquilo.
Wow. Wow. So yeah, dude gets swallowed up, spit out, lives to tell the tale. Oh my gosh. That is just, talk about freaky. That's like worst case scenario. You're out there and you're like, oh yeah, I mean, the weather is terrible. Choppy as can be. It's like, why are you even out there today? And then, of course, the worst possible thing happened. A whale swallows you. That's crazy, man. That's got to be the wild one for the day. And he lived to tell about it. All right, so let's jump into some news here on jobs. I told you when we got the revised numbers here from the Biden administration, it was all lies. It was all lies. Then when we got the real numbers, it was rather shocking because all the jobs went to migrants, all the new jobs went to migrants, none to native-born people, which is just crazy. Now they're warning about what we've been talking about and warning about, that robots and AI is going to replace us and that they don't need us no more, but it's coming up fast. It's like here. Let's look at this sector, waste management, the trash man. They're saying that this is going to be all automated in the coming years. There is going to be no trash man. Right? These trucks will be like the automated trucks. They'll drive themselves. They'll have flashing lights and they'll drive on the roads at like 30 miles an hour and stop at each place and then have a thing that reaches out and grabs the stuff. And, you know, they've already done this in some places. It's got the claw that comes out and picks it up and then dumps it and does all that. It's just all going to be automated. So it's a lot of jobs going out the window. I mean, it's happening everywhere. You got to keep track of it. This was not, the best job in the world, I'd say, but it was a decent paying job. They paid decent for this job because nobody wants to really do it. Now it's gone. So it's just somebody else that you know, another person in town, that's without a job now. Just sit back and think about that. Your whole town, neighborhood, whatever. As these jobs start to deteriorate and go down one by one, how many more people are put out? It's pretty crazy, man. Jobs have just been getting eliminated left and right. Like I said, when they want to talk about the jobs and some of the stuff going down, It was all lies. We're starting to get some real numbers. We knew we would get a different set of numbers when Trump and them got in there. Not to say that everything that they're doing is and we're going to get into that here in a second. The whole Doge thing, the good, the bad, the ugly. They're trying to blame Trump already for the egg prices, and that's a bit ridiculous. The man's only been in there a very short time. You can't put that on him. I mean, it's just rewind time and look what's happened over the period that Biden was in there. The whole Bidenomics thing. Prices have surged since 2021, okay? Since 2021. Overall inflation, 21%. Eggs, up 238%. Coffee, 53%. Sugar, 48%. Ground beef, 40%. Butter, 35%. Ice cream, 29%. This is crazy numbers, man. Rice, flour, soft drinks, white bread, 25%. Chicken breast, 22%. All these things in the red, sky high. The ground beef, it just mentions ground beef, but it's not talking about the steak and all that as well. Like, it's all going through the roof, man. The paycheck is way less anymore. You know, when you start to deteriorate and debase your currency, you get less for it. And Trump's now imposed all these tariffs, and it's not what some people were thinking. You know, the tariff is being paid by us, depending on what product that you're going for. Like, he could put it on washing machines and dryers, which happened last time in his last presidency, and it spiked them up an extra $100 and some. So who was paying that? We were paying it. And see, that's how it works. All these people were like, oh, he just put tariffs from China and Canada and Mexico and all that. He's saying, no, it's black magic. He just put it on you and all the goods that you get from those places. It's ridiculous watching this in motion. The ignorance of masses and just taking it. Just taking this about, oh, it's too much winning. It's winning. Like, this is sick. Seeing such a large mass of people being subdued by the beast. Being walked right in. I know some of you have the eyes to see. You see the whole thing is for what it is. But man, it's the masses though. When you control the majority and you can sway the bigger part of the crowd, well then that's all that matters to them. And they can turn them on you. And that's what they'll do. If you ever get caught up in one of these wrong conversations out here, they'll turn on you like that. All right, let me jump into some economic stuff here real quick. Trump is going to tie into a lot of these headlines, just is the way that it is. The false Prince of Peace, the Gentile Messiah, they call him Donald Trump. Real last name is Drumpf, oddly enough. They did old switcheroo. I said this before, but it's important that people understand. He wrote an executive order against the CBDC. And most of his audience, most of his followers, voters here, they don't even stop to understand what he's done. He sat here and did it, and like within a short time, he pushed a coin in his name, for crying out loud. And even one in Melania's to make it just, it was a 1-2 punch. Like, screw it. Like, we're going to get away with one with the Trump. We're going to do one for her, too. She's getting so much attention right now. It's boom. That's what they did. That's what they did. And he's pushing blockchain through and through. He's made it no secret that he wants us to be the crypto capital of the world. To do this, some things got to change. They did come out. His son, Eric, said that they were going to do away with taxes on American projects, which would be huge. It's akin to them doing away with taxes on precious metals. You're only going to get a couple windows. You understand? You're only going to get a couple of these windows, and then they're gone, man. I can't stress it to you enough. I've been trying to stress it for years. I mean, since 2016, 2017, really 2017 the hardest, and I was preaching hard about the gold and the silver and the beast blockchain and all that. Like, gold has tripled. It's more than tripled since then. Talk about an investment. And imagine it being tax-free. Where are you going to find that at? How are you going to find that again? Where are you going to get that at? I'm waiting. You're not. Not like this. Not with the most precious metals in the world. Most states now doing away with the taxes on them because they're seeing it as for what it is. They're accepting it as being a currency, and they're realizing you can't tax our currency like that if that's the case. And it seems that these same states are preparing for something bad to happen economically, or to the dollar specifically. So what is this great gain that they keep talking about here? 2025, the great gain, the best time to get rich in American history. Right now. How would that even be possible? Well, I've tried to explain this several times, and this is a double-edged sword. I got to preface it by saying that this is all about the technology, blockchain technology, and it can be used for good things, for storing certain types of information, and things like that, if good people are in control. Which is not the case. We have no good people in control anywhere. They mostly get killed and murdered. And with this technology, you can expect the worst things to happen now. Thank you, quantum. Silver, silver, silver. He says you got that right. And thank you there for that super chat. What this does is opens the door for the everyday person to get into a game where they can become a potential millionaire. This is different than the traditional stock market. Most people missing this point. There is so much money in the crypto realm that it's insane. What's his name? Had a I don't keep up with all these Aiden Ross. He's one of these rich kid dudes that runs with like the Tate Brothers and all this other stuff out there. Where he's on a live stream, and one of his buddies, Frank, sitting on the stream with him, and they all got money. They ain't got no reason to lie about anything and create stuff like this. But they said something to Frank. They're like, "Yo, is it true that you made $100 flip into $1 million in a day without scamming?" That was a big thing. He was dead serious. And he was like, yeah. He goes, well, what you got to do is sit there and you got to watch and you got to watch and you got to watch this site called Memescope. And he started going into the process, and he explained how he got a coin that just got created and dropped, and he got it for $100, and it went from like 100 and some thousand market cap up to like 100 million within 24 hours. And he just cashed out, and it was over $1 million. And his roommates are sitting there like they could vouch for this, but they're freaking out. They're like, the one guy's freaking out. Like, do you know what it's like to have to live with this guy? Like, all he does is sit there and stare at his screen, eat pizza, and rips off 7 figures every couple days. And we're just like, they're all like butthurt about it, but they're like, jokingly, I mean, they're happy for him, but they're like, dang, man, like, their roommate's sitting over here ripping off 7 figures. And how is he doing it? It's because the crypto opens up this opportunity. And this is the double-edged sword. It's blockchain. Everything that you do is tracked. You should never be forced onto this full scale. The problem is, and we warn about it so much and have been, our era, though, they're going to like wait us out if that's the case. They're continued to work on the youth in the next generation. They're going to continue to make things, apps and things like that easier. Digital money is easier. It's the cooler thing to do for the youth. That's how they're pushing it. And they don't know, they don't see, a lot of the youth is not seeing the beast element like they need to see. That it's going to do away with their privacy and their freedom, which is the key thing. And they're like oblivious to this at this point. And they need to be educated to the fullest. Because once this happens, it's too late. But what they're going to do is they're just going to wait us out. And they're going to continue as the youth grow older here by just one generation, just within a decade. They could probably play this card because they'll have so many people on the digital stuff. It doesn't matter if we're still sitting around bitching about it, warning about it or not. Again, they'll have so many of the masses around us bought into it that it's over. That's how they win. And that's why we fight this fight and always have. To wake as many people up as we can to the death of us. With the truth. But once they get the masses seduced into this digital currency, which Trump's already doing. One hand, he says no CBDC and shoves it over for like a bone for them to chew on. And it's like, gotta be low intelligence, low IQ. I don't get it. They don't see that on the other hand, he pushes blockchain. You didn't stop to even ask why were you even complaining about a CBDC? What scared you about a CBDC? What scared you about it? Well, it was blockchain. It was everything I just said. The blockchain and the ledger, the tracking, the doing away with your privacy and your freedom and all that. That was the concern. But no, most of them didn't even get it. And it's scary. It's like, are you just that? Like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't. It's scary. It's scary here because all I can keep trying to equate it to is like black magic in the open because that's exactly what it is to me. And it's a whole mass of people falling for it at once. I've never seen anything like it. It's crazy. I know some of you see it clearly. And it's wild. I mean, look at the time we live in. Anyhow, in terms of making money and getting rich, it's there in the crypto realm. And I'm going to say this. I've said this before also. Shorting is something that, like, nobody does. Most people don't even know it exists and that they can even do it. I seen a clip of Elon complaining about it yesterday or the day before. And it really ticked me off. Like, I can't stand the guy at all at this point. I mean, at all. Like, on extreme levels. Because I know what he is and what he's doing, clearly. You know, we knew about this with Neuralink and all this other stuff. He said they were trying to summon the demon. And all this. But so he starts complaining that people like you and me are getting a piece of the pie. That's it. He's upset. He thinks it's unfair that someone like you or me could short something and make money off of it. And why he says he's upset is because they've shorted his company, Tesla, a little bit when it's come back. And he don't believe that this and that, and it's garbage. It's like the world's richest man doesn't believe you can find a way to get rich too or get wealthy too. That's ridiculous. He wants you to remain a peon. Okay, so he goes on saying, well, hardly anyone could do it successfully anyway, trying to clown them and hate on them. And then he admits something. He goes, anyone that can successfully do it, it's only like 0.001% of the world population. So you'd be, if you were successful at it, it's ultra rare anyway. So like, what do you got to worry about? And it was just like he's hating on the everyday person just getting crumbs off of his Tesla. It's ridiculous. You got so many other things to worry about. He doesn't talk about trying to save this planet anyway. He gives some lame excuse when people ask him for world hunger and all this crap, which he doesn't participate in. He'd rather go hang out with the guys performing genocide. And woohoo, jump around on stage and all this crap. This is evil. It's as evil as it gets. Okay? Mr. Baphomet. I call him that for a reason. He's the only one of these guys that had the audacity to dress up in a Baphomet costume with an upside-down cross on it and rub it in your face. Mr. Non-elected president. Elon Musk that now wants to go through all your tax files. Huh? Do you know that? We'll get to that here in a minute. People better be careful what they wish for. But it's too much winning, isn't it? Fucking idiots. So, look, I told you before, gold, silver, these tax-free things, anything you put out there tax-free that you can make money on, you should be looking into right now. This isn't going to last long. I would be looking into shorting the game. That's where you would become mega rich. Do you understand me? If you could put $10,000 on something that falls out from the top, dude. It's what they do. It's what he don't want you to do. I'm telling you, this is how guys are doing it. In the way that I explained to you before, getting these stupid little meme coins fresh for cheap and just catching them when they explode. A couple of different ways to do it, but it's happening. Check this out. Interesting. Argentina is lawyering up. They're going after Malay for fraud charges. Why? Because of crypto. Class action lawsuit over this Libra coin. They say that he shilled it, that it pumped, and then it dumped, and that all these people are out money, and they're attacking him for it. Where did he learn all this from? Who just did it? Who just did it? I just told you, Trump. Go look, their coins on CoinMarketCap right now. Him, and they got you twice. They dropped a Melania coin just to say, you suckers, and they did. They did. And that's how they got billions. All these people invested, and they took it. Them coins have dumped out, and they'll continue to dump out. They'll spike them here and there. And as I said before, all they got to do is pump it up one time, right? If something like this happens, all they got to do is pump it up one time. Be like, oh, they didn't even hold it a year. They didn't even hold an investment. Is going to be the argument. It's going to be his argument, too. I could see it. I almost believe that this is the beginning of FUD, which means it's the beginning of a bear market about to happen. Whenever you start to see negative headlines like this in crypto or anything like this, it's to tear it down. And whenever it starts like this heavy and starts coming down, it's coming down. And they used to do it with a lot of American-based news and scare the crap out of you, SEC, this and that. But now that the game's changed with Trump in there being pro-crypto, they got to find another route. They got to go outside of America with scare tactics, and that's what's happening. I'm not so sure that it's going to affect the game the same, though, because as I was just showing you with the last article, there's a crypto boom happening. It doesn't mean there's not going to be a pullback. There will be. But Trump's initiating it. So this is time where things are happening. What are you so confused about by his love? So Malay came out and promoted a cryptocurrency to his people in Argentina, okay, called Libra, and then deleted it off of social media. A lot of people bought into it. Went up to $4.56 billion. in market cap, and then it dumped. It's what they call pump and dump. Okay? And they're saying it was a scam. Well, I got news for them. That's the whole crypto realm. That's all the entire crypto realm does. And it's all ran by bots and overseen by AI and everything you can think of. Yeah. Also, so somebody's going out there and you're successfully trading in this environment, you're a super skilled individual. Because you're competing these days against, even versus the past couple cycles, you're competing against AI and bots, large scale. It's like the odds are ridiculous. But that's the truth. So anyone that's able to pull out, like some of these guys are, millions out of the game, you go find another opportunity. It's going to come along. It's going to present itself like this. Carrie Ray says it's all scam. Live Life says it's money laundering. I suppose you could launder money somehow in there, but not really. Tells me you don't understand anything about it. It's all a scam. Well, I just told you the pump and dump aspect. This could be one's opinion. This is blockchain. How can you hide or anything that's there forever? This isn't sending money to Ukraine and laundering it and having no proof of anything. They're using dollars and gold to do that, and they're getting away with it. Okay? You can't do that with blockchain. You can't. It's over. Every transaction is logged on the blockchain. You see, so it's a whole different realm, man. People just can't even wrap their head around. It's a double-edged sword. Again, we've got evil people here, so everything that has to do with digital currency is backed by not good things. Because you have not good people running things. It's all an illusion, man. When all your people around you, most of the world's been fooled by this ruse, follow the Gentile Messiah. Oh, dude. You even want to bring this up, right? They're going to be like, oh, what you going to vote for Kamala? And they want to show their caveman mentality. Small-minded mentality. That's the trick. And it's so basic, you fell for it. It's ridiculous. Some people can see it from 1,000 yards away. And we did. We're just waiting for one big event here on Trump's watch to get this thing going. It can happen any day now. Any day now. Economic. I'm talking economic. Dollars, cyber attack, a freeze on the banks, something crazy. That's really going to get things going. Or an announcement on some banks or something. Gold, though, is where it's at. You don't have to worry about no bank. Be your own bank. Be your neighborhood smelter, as I say. Somebody's going to have to do it. Someone that deals with gold and silver. This is the real money. Always has been, always will be. We were just born into this life cycle where fiat paper currency, basically monopoly money, was what we're using. Bunch of IOUs, because people accept it. They got everybody to accept it. It's pretty crazy what they've done. And this is why our dollar's worth nothing. Is because it's not backed by gold anymore. The only reason that they pushed the scam to begin with is because it was backed by gold. And then when they could detach that, it was over with. And they've ran that thing into the ground, the dollar, since then, since they took the gold away. And that brings me to this next one. Fort Knox. It's been all the talk today. I'm so sick of social media sometimes, man. I'll tell you, it makes me sick. To see the lemmings to sit there and, it's like whatever words, again, black magic, whatever bones Elon, Trump, and them want to throw at the crowd, have them chew on the day, they will. You know? And it's just how I see it, because it's every day. Every day I see it all the time. You know? Whether it's this or it's that. Or, you know, today it's Fort Knox. Yesterday it was DEI. Everyone's DEI, DEI. And today it's everyone's Fort Knox, Fort Knox. Oh, and everyone's flipping out because they're like, oh, in this figure, it's flooded down there right now. Like it's some major conspiracy. Like they flooded the whole place out to stop some people from getting in to Fort Knox when the flood water is receded right now. If they can get in there. But yet on social media, you'll see him regurgitating this. It's like, do you really believe that? Or do you even stop to think about that? Like the common sense in that? But yet the common sense factor is like out the freaking window these days. So, they say, let's audit this place. I've got a video that I got to show you. It's on my main page here, and it's connected to this. And it's a guy that says some pretty astounding things that you should probably hear if you've never heard it. And it's an older video, but nonetheless, it's educational. And I actually dropped a couple different videos. One was on a tax thing where all these people were like, look, we can't find a law on the books that says anything about having to pay taxes. And it's like dozens of people. So I'm going to start with this guy. I'm going to let him explain this to you here real quick. And thank you, Annie. I tell you what, I respect someone that's a free thinker, and may even have a difference of opinion, way more than a lemming. Some sheep. It's just sick of seeing it, and I know in my heart that that sheep mentality, that whole lemming thing, is what's going to get most of us killed. When they convince the larger majority of the population to do this or do that, they'll turn on you. You know, purebloods are a remnant anyway. Okay? Just wait until the next big test. Bird flu or whatever. A deadly one, like I said before. Be super remnant.
Naturally, gold prices immediately began to soar. 9 years later, gold sold for $880. Naturally, gold prices immediately began to soar. 9 years later, gold sold for $880 per ounce, 25 times what the gold in Fort Knox was sold for. One would think that eventually someone in the government would get wind of what was happening and blow the whistle. The largest fortune in the history of the world stolen. Shades of the old James Bond film, Goldfinger. Well, as a matter of fact, Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond series, was head of the British counterintelligence service, MI5. Some believe in the intelligence community that he wrote much of his fiction as a warning, as many authors of fiction do. If the removal of all the good delivery gold from Fort Knox can be viewed as a deliberate raid on the U.S. Treasury, then such an operation might well have been years in the making, namely 40 years. Certainly enough time for Fleming to get wind of it and try to prevent it. So just how did the story of the Fort Knox gold robbery get out? It all started with an article in a New York periodical in 1974. The article charged that the Rockefeller family was manipulating the Federal Reserve to sell off Fort Knox gold at bargain basement prices to anonymous European speculators.
Listen.
3 days later, the anonymous source of the story, Louise Auchincloss Boyer, mysteriously fell to her death from the window of her 10th floor apartment in New York. How would Mrs. Boyer have known of the Rockefeller connection to the Fort Knox gold heist? She was the longtime secretary of Nelson Rockefeller. For the next 14 years, this...
So the secretary that knew everything got thrown out the 10th floor window. That's how the Rockefellers roll.
Man, Ed Durrell, a wealthy Ohio industrialist, devoted himself to a quest for the truth concerning the Fort Knox gold. He wrote thousands of letters to over 1,000 government and banking officials, trying to find out how much gold was really left and where the rest of it had gone. Edith Roosevelt, the granddaughter of President Teddy Roosevelt, questioned the actions of the government in a March 1975 edition of the New Hampshire Sunday News. Allegations of missing gold from our Fort Knox vaults are being widely discussed in European financial circles. But what is puzzling is that the administration is not hastening to demonstrate conclusively that there is no cause for concern over our gold treasure, if indeed it is in a position to do so. Unfortunately, Ed Durrell never did accomplish his primary goal, a full audit of the gold reserves in Fort Knox. It's incredible that the world's greatest treasure has had little accounting or auditing. This gold belonged to the American people, not the Federal Reserve and their foreign owners. One thing is certain, the government could blow all of this speculation away in a few days with a well-publicized audit under the searing lights of media cameras. It has chosen not to do so. One must conclude that they are afraid of the truth such an audit would reveal. What is the government so afraid of? Here's the answer. When President Ronald Reagan took office in 1981, his conservative friends urged him to study the feasibility of returning to a gold standard as the only way to curb government spending. It sounded like a reasonable alternative, so President Reagan appointed a group of men called the Gold Commission to study the situation and report back to Congress. What Reagan's Gold Commission reported back to Congress in 1982 was the following shocking revelation concerning gold. The U.S. Treasury owned no gold at all. All the gold that was left in Fort Knox was now owned by the Federal Reserve, a group of private bankers, as collateral against the national debt. The truth of the matter is that never before has so much money been stolen from the hands of the general public and put into the hands of a small group of private investors, the money changers.
You know how old this video is? I think you can tell just by watching it. And everybody's out there trying to talk about Fort Knox this, Fort Knox that. Again, like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off. I get sick of seeing that, man. It's no free thinkers. Brainwashed. It's sickening. So, it's a legitimate concern to want to know if the gold's in there. I just don't trust none of them. I don't trust nothing they do, nothing they say, anything about it. And okay, if they come and they tell you the gold's gone, what are the American people going to do? What are you going to do? What are they going to do? Honestly, what are the people going to do? Nothing. You know it. Nothing. They will do nothing. They'll be ushered back to their corner to go back to sleep. And they'll do nothing. They'll be told that this was done a long time ago, and who knows? They could be told exactly what I just showed you. That it was sold out long, long ago. All the men that did it are long dead and gone. There's no one to prosecute. Do you understand? You know, this is why they wait so long for things to come out. We want to make sure everyone's dead and gone. Can't be prosecuted for things. And, it doesn't mean nothing. What? Their seeds got it now? You act like we can't go get it back? They give me a break. We go take that back, just like they took it. Right? Are we gonna sit there with like some lambs? You got robbed during the Great Depression because of a scam that was plotted by J.P. Morgan Chase and the goons. Stole everything from you. Everything, that farm that they took from your grandparents should be yours now. was all taken from you. So you can pay rent, pay your taxes, your electric bill, your water bill, be a good slave. So taken from you. And it was. It's not a conspiracy. It was. And it didn't just do it to us. It affected the entire world. They robbed us in a ruse. And we know about it. We're hip to it now. So I truly believe that all the money that JP Morgan, Chase, the wealth that they're sitting on should be divvied up to the people that they stole it from and given back with interest. Mm-hmm. And the criminals prosecuted. How about them apples? Talk about reparations. Everybody get back what they're owed for real. Now, everyone to sit there. The next big event's about to happen. I call it the Great Taking. And just as I got done telling you here earlier, and thank you, cannons. You got that right, brother, as I've said. We got some crazy times ahead of us. We're in them. We're in crazy times. Oh boy, oh boy. Fort Knox. Let me... Hold on. I want to do something. Give me 1 second here. I thought I could do... here it is. A poll. Is the gold in Fort Knox? It's a simple yes. Yes and no. Is the gold in Fort Knox? That's the poll. I got up there to the end of the stream. We'll see where it's at. Be an interesting one. It's probably going to be pretty dominant one way or another, but hey, just going to get a consensus here on if the gold is in Fort Knox or not. Again, they could come out and say it's not there. I mean, look what they've been coming out doing every day. Okay? Bear with me, guys. Hear me. Hear me out. No one's going to jail for none of this. They're not even talking about it. They're not even mentioning it. Every day they're saying, oh, millions and billions and trillions and billions have been discovered and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, what the? And like, we're saving all this money. It's just like, okay, well, who did all this? Like, you haven't mentioned no one freaking time. These are crimes, high crimes. And it's like black magic. No one says a word. No one says a word. You are living in the craziest freaking times. It's the only thing I can chalk it up to be, and I believe it is that. It's high-level magic being used on the masses to keep them subdued. It's craziness. So we call it out because we see it. We got the eyes to see. And we're going to keep calling it out. These are devils, man. This is the end game. I mean, when you've got the whole freaking Orthodox Jewish tribe labeling Donald Trump their Gentile Messiah and giving him the silver crown and everything else, like, you better watch out. You better pay attention to what these people believe in, what they're willing to do to usher in events. They got big plans if you ain't seen, and they're willing to go to crazy extents to get them. So, before I move out of here, I just wanted you to see exactly how much gold is on Earth and what that equates to. Oddly enough, it breaks down when you do the math, per what we know, projected in the amount of people, to roughly 30 grams for each person. That's right around a troy ounce of gold. 6 gold coins. or rings. They got 6 gold rings or 1 troy ounce coin. So, yeah, that many people on the planet, everyone, if it was divided equally, would have 1 gold coin. Yeah. But that's not the case. Most people don't have any gold or silver. And as you said earlier there, Quantum, silver is the way to go. There's going to be a silver squeeze, or it's going to rocket. Let's put it that way. It's going to play catch up to gold. Gold is on a tear, going through the roof, and it's not going to stop. At some point, silver's going to bust through that $30 range. You know, and something crazy can happen during this Trump administration. They're tearing everything down. Like, go and tear down JP Morgan chasing them. They've already been busted manipulating the precious metals market. Like, somebody page Doge and tell them that. Get big balls on the line. Hey, go down and check these guys out. Seriously, that's this guy's name that Elon's put in charge. He went and got like a handful of like 19-year-old, 20-year-olds in college or something. That's who Doge is, if you don't know. It's craziness. New Jersey, all my people that's in Jersey, I feel for you here, man. They just banned safe, effective ammunition, hollow tip ammunition in your state. I don't understand what's going on there. Heads up. That's all I could say. I see stuff like that. When states start making crazy moves like that, that's going the wrong way. And looky who we have here. Someone's washed up. We've got Tom Hanks, who goes on SNL, and he really is clowning everyday like type of Americans with the skit here. It's like a country white guy, and the people see it and just like rip him apart. I was gonna play the clip, but I can't because the more I thought about it, coming off SNL, it's probably copywritten. That's why I don't play the Joe Rogan clips anymore, neither, because same thing. I can't even play a little clip of it to show something, catch these damn strikes, or something stupid. So, they're going after everybody, right? Peter Strzok has wiped his account. They got to know that they can go back and they can get all this information. He's got to. Being an agent there at that level, knowing things that they can do. Some of these guys just wiping their stuff. It's kind of like a guilty look. They can go right back in and they can get it, really. Especially all of his X data. Come on, this is Elon's baby. Like, they've got like everything he's ever done cached. That's odd, cached. Yeah, Cash Patel coming in. It's all show, man. I really feel that they went overboard to me. Because for people like me, it's just too much. All the characters, from Pete the Hexeths, the Cash Patels, to your Tulsi Gabbards, to your RFK Juniors, to all these prime picks, like an all-star team that they've thrown around Trump, it's just... I see what they're doing. They make like, how could someone not like this team? Is what they've created. And I'm like, still see what you're doing. Like, you can fool them, but like, look, we still see what you're doing. I don't trust none of it. I don't trust this government. I don't trust this beast. I don't trust Trump. I don't trust Elon. I don't trust none of it. Yeah, are they doing some winning? Throwing you some winning? Yes, I'll give them credit where credit's due. I always do. I always do. When we call them out where it's needed. But where they're taking us in the long run, here is scary. The fact that I can't even find like hardly anyone to ever like face the truths about these things that we call out about Trump. Like they turn a cheek and run the other way. Straight up. Like we just start calling him Mr. Warp Speed and they like turn around and they run. Even some people I associate with, like they won't share anything like this that's even challenging or dissing Trump. They'd be scared to associate themselves with it, which is ridiculous. It's like, dude, you've already bitched out for the beast. Dude, I'll tell you what, people are so fake in this world. And this whole Trump thing has shown me all these clout chasers, for better words. Because I'd call them something else. But grown-ass men riding other men's jocks. Instead of calling them out, they're riding the gravy train. And I've seen so many people take it. It's like they're part of a club or something. And part of a gang or something. And I get it. People want to feel a certain way. But you can't blindly jump into something. Like, you've got to be prepared to be honest. I mean, where's your integrity? When people can't even sit down and talk about the basic things. Like, I try to sit here and educate you on the whole crypto thing. People are like, oh, no, Trump signed EO. Oh, I don't want to hear that. Like, what did you want, Kamala? It's like, dude, like, you get your fronts knocked? Like, that's what I'm talking about, the mentality. This gets old, man. Like, you got to be honest with these conversations. The backing of genocide. Just go in and clean it all out. You want to turn a cheek to that too, don't you? Oh, yeah, you do. You know, talk about it. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic, man. Silver Sailor, much love. There's people to claim this, say that. What they've done for old Trumpy. You better get with it, man. You better remember who Jesus is. Yeshua, like the Messiah. Like, what they should be really dedicating their life to. Getting their soul out of here. But that's all lost, right? Man, I see so much evil. It's crazy. And yeah, I bet there's people in DC that are freaking out. A lot of people getting fired, this and that, and it's happening. And it's double-edged sword. Again, look, they will cull their own kind. And this is a consolidation move. Can't you see it? They're consolidating power. And they're culling the masses, so to speak. They're just cutting them loose. Look at the tens of thousands they're just offering buyouts to in this net. Like, when does this ever happen? Never. Look at how much dirt they're finding, like daily. Like, when does this ever happen like this? Never. You can give it that prop. But when is it going to be too far? Well, I think you're about to see. So people in D.C. are freaking out, RICO law and this and that. Well, yeah, they'll sell you out, man. Like, ain't you guys learned anything from Diddy and Epstein and all this, even high-level cats? Like, they will throw you under the bus. Quick. So, it's all to cover the beast's tail in the end. Left, right, left, whatever. All this low-hanging fruit, it's easy to pick off. They're done. Like, look at this. I think I said this last time. Like, people are going online and they're getting scared and they're looking up all these things. Well, all this data they're watching. So, like, their boss, the man, government sitting there watching them geeking in real time and watching them typing in every keystroke, freaking out. What do you think that they're thinking then? What do you think the government's thinking when they're sitting there watching someone do this? They got someone in their minds. And this is every single person out there that's geeking out on anything and everything that's typing it up and looking for it. Deborah, much love. God bless you. Thank you for the coffees and the support. It means more than you know. So people are freaking out over Rico, and they're taking out, they take down everybody on this. They'll take down, mayors, their rappers, on RICO charges. And throw them away for 20 years. This is a calling. I'm telling you. Look, wipe hard drive. Look, when you see these words, you probably got a couple agents done sitting outside your house. Typing some stuff like that. Like, they on your ass. Like, it's over. Like, I don't know. Be smart about it at least. Like, go get you some burner laptop and go somewhere else. And, like, you better think this thing out. Sailor Tom. Hey, he says the golden age is the best way to put the sheep to sleep. Yeah. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the support. And I agree. It's a very interesting time, right? We're in. To put the sheep to sleep. And that's yeah. It's exactly what it is, man. You say that, I thought of the Wizard of Oz and dropping out in the field. That's how everybody is. Everybody's just out of it. You're gonna wake up like, what the? Yep. We tried warning you, man. One economic event, and it's on. Yeah. So, I bet people are very scared right now. Like I said, I bet you they are. Anyone that's done dirt, think about it. Any criminal, anyone that thought that they were an untouchable in DC or anything like that, they probably are freaking out. So, they are finding paper trails of money. But I've been saying this the whole time, like, who's going to jail for this? There's so many fingers to point stuff at. This goes back over so many years. Like who's this going to be hung on? You could quite easily say that, the most recent presidency, the Biden regime, Biden, Kamala, they participated in all this crap. For sure, right? They should be at the top of the list to go to jail. Will that ever happen? You and I both know the answer to that. Joe's basically an untouchable at this point. Because he was the president. And he did what they wanted. So, he'll go live the rest of his days on the beach. Versus, if you choose the other path, you get JFK. So you can either be a legend or not. That's one thing I told Elon over on X. And these other people over there pandering to him, like jumping on his every post, making comments, trying to get noticed like little bitches. It makes me sick. Grown-ass men hanging on him like that. It's just... I told him, I was like, Elon, you don't become the hero fighting for the beast. You become the hero fighting against it. I know he saw it. I just know in my soul he saw it. Yeah. So he knows. He knows anyway. He knows what side he's on. He knows the role he's playing. He knows full well. It's very satanic. It's high evil. Mr. Neuralink. Whatever's left of humans, they're going to try to, not just chip, they're going to try to put a freaking Neuralink in them. Man, 20, 30 years, if they get their way. Like, we're the last of the human race, like, living it out right now. Like, they will cull everything down. Whatever's left, they will have chipped or cyborged. Shipped to Mars, whatever. They've shown me and proven to me they have no use for us anymore. So to speak. Some could argue that long as humans are here and they're in turmoil, that they're being used. Because the Jinn, they're harvesting energy off of you. But see, you got people that can't even wrap their head around the simplest things. How are they going to wrap their head around that? So, this takes me to the next one. Elon. And all of them say that, they think that they've uncovered the biggest fraud in history. And it may be. It may be in terms of numbers. It may be the biggest fraud in history. He is saying that the data is showing 20 million Americans are collecting Social Security that are over the age of 100. And when you go down even further, it says that benefits are being paid out to people that are over 140. This is like astronomically bad. Like 20 million. Are you kidding me? And that numbers of people in each age bucket, the death field is set to false. Okay, so this has been like this whole time. And this is something you could say is huge. That, this is absolutely big. That things like this had to be stopped. Might be the biggest fraud in history, as it says, and it very well could be. Like I said, the numbers here, insane. Like, where's all this money going and gone to? So, yeah, all right. So, keeping it pushing here. Doge reveals 4.7 trillion of how much crazier can these numbers get? You get lost in it. Like, there's so many, they're finding so much stuff, it's like insane. All I can say is, like, who's going to jail? And, like, that's the one thing I'm not getting. And that's a bit ridiculous. Heidi, thank you for the coffees. God bless you. So 4.7 trillion of taxpayer money went into a government black hole, and it's untraceable. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Okay, the Treasury Access symbol is TAS. It's an identification code that links the Treasury payments to a budget line item. That's how they track everything. And basically, he tried to explain here in a post. He says in the federal government, the task field was optional for 4.7 trillion in payments. And it was often left blank, making traceability almost impossible. So the whole system was there and put in place, the Treasury Access symbol and all that, but it was left blank for 4.7 trillion. With a T now. Like, we're not even talking about B's no more. We're like past that. It's like T's the common thing, the trillion. It's where we're at now. This is nuts, man. And at this rate, Elon's working on positioning himself to be the first trillionaire ever before it's all said and done. This right here is like, he just said that Social Security was like the biggest fraud. Like, I mean, does that number in the end top 4.7 trillion? Because these are gargantuan numbers that like you almost can't fathom. Right? Every day, who's going to jail for this? How can like no one be mentioning this? Man, like, I'm just in Gorilla Bear. Much love. Who do I think the Antichrist is? Well, I would argue that I feel like it's more of a spirit force that many participate in. They play their part, their roles in it. If I had to look at one figurehead, it would have to be someone that is on a spiritual level, not political, but a spiritual level, performing miracles, being recognized, and even being called the Messiah. And that man is the Yanuka. He's alive, he's living, he's in Israel. He is their man. And if you've never heard of him, they've done a really good job of keeping him hidden in the wide open. They even put him on their shekel. And then, unlike our currency that shows the president right in the center, they cut his face right down the middle to where half of the image is on each end of the bill, and you don't even realize it's there. But when you put them together, you can see him. And it's here. And they've already attributed miracles to him. That is an anti-Christ. Okay? In a spiritual, religious sense here, people that don't believe in Christ, that don't believe in Jesus, they don't believe that he's the Messiah, they believe that this guy is. And it means Torah genius, the Yanuka does. He looks to sit in this next temple that they're going to build under Trump. And as the rabbi said in the video that I played, Trump is the Gentile Messiah. They have dubbed him that. And he is going to hand America over into this new world empire that's going to be under their Messiah. He says it plain as day. And they give Trump the silver crown for this. He's going to place that crown on their Messiah's head. Do you understand this? And I dropped all the videos. This is the crazy times that you're living in. It's happening. He's here. You ask who the Antichrist is, they want to argue over the Pope or Trump or Elon. Well, I want to tell you, they're all working in the same spirit in conjunction. And I just told you, there's one that sits above them all. Only one of them's going to sit in the temple. It's not Trump. It's the Yanuka. You need to get hip with that and understand this. They're keeping him low key for a reason, but he's here. He's here for a long time. We've wondered this. And, people hear, oh, Obama's the Antichrist. Putin's the Antichrist. I've heard it all. Even up, you got the strongest argument yet if someone was trying to say, Trump was this and that. But still, he's not. He's not. He's like second in line to this character, their Messiah. And they admit it. He is the Gentile Messiah, not the Messiah. I just told you, it's like I'm on repeat. he has to hand us over to the Yanuga, to their Messiah. It's what Trump has chosen to do. Dude, like, you're slipping if you're not paying attention to Trump and his connection to Adelson's, to the money out of Israel, the Mossad, Netanyahu, which you should see. He's sitting there tucking a chair up under his butt. You can see who controls what. You know, we can go in and clear them all out. You know, like, get out of here. Like, and this is supposed to be your Prince of Peace. Go in and clear them all out. Prince of Peace, oh yeah? Again, you want to bring up any hard conversation to any of these people out here, they run. Now, here's where tables start to turn. Everybody was cool with Elon going after this, going after that. Yeah, doing. Now we go do when he's pulling your stuff. That's right. That's the move now. They seek access to taxpayer data on every single person. Thank you, Zev1. Yeah. So now, when you hear someone like the people you don't like, or a Democrat, or someone from the other side, complaining and calling this out, it's almost like you have to agree with it, because it's the truth. Like, this is impeding on one's privacy. And this is the world's richest man that bought his way into the White House. No one voted him in to do any of this. And look, he told you about all these crimes that have just been committed by this government. Continues on a daily. What have I said this whole time? Not a single person has been mentioned to go to jail, and they won't be. Okay? It's all fraudulent. But when they come knocking on your door, it's a whole different story, isn't it? When everyday Americans start to get messed with now because they pulled your card. Oh, you're a registered Democrat, we see him. What? Like, I'm telling you, this is a hornet's nest that this isn't going to be in favor of no one. In the meantime, Mr. Elon is popping off babies, it seems, all over the place. And we got another lady that comes out of the shadows, says she has a 5-month-old, like a son. It's a child. And it's Elon's. And I guess it was supposed to remain hidden or something. Or I don't know, she come out and said that it's his. The funniest thing about this is, and I don't have the image up, you guys could see it for yourself if you go look on Joe Biggs' X account, Twitter account, his newest account. Joe Biggs just got freed from prison. He is sitting there in a picture. It was like an ultimate troll or something, like with his arm around this girl, and it was like an older picture or something. It like isn't like current. Like he just got out. Like he's not like with her now. It's not what it seemed. It was it seemed like an older picture, and people were like in the comment section, like, "You were with that too?" And all this, and I was like, "Damn, shiesty!" Like some of these, whatever you want to call them, work these circles, man. Call them cougars, whatever. Looking for popular, rich, whatever, conservative men. And of course, top of the totem pole, she nailed Elon. And I don't know, mate. This all makes me sick. So look at this. Let me go to California. The puppet show continues. It's just like musical chairs. Ain't none of them going to jail. They're just going to slide them over there and bring another one over here. And like, oh, you hated Gavin over there? Like, Gavin's going to run for president this next time. And guess what? Oh, since Gavin's seat's going to be empty, well, we'll just put Kamala over there in his seat. How about that? You like that? Everyone's like, boo, no, we hate that. But yet, that is what you're about to get. Kamala Harris is the front runner to become the next governor of California. So, I don't know how you feel about that, Cali. All my Cali cats out there. It's one thing to get rid of Newsom, but it's almost like careful what you wish for, right? Because not they're just going to give you... It's like, front runner, huh? Like, I would like to say, like, let the people vote and let's see what they say. But that's a sham. They gave us her, and the people didn't choose her to begin with. And they're about to do it again in California. They're showing you right here. This is who you're getting. Your totalitarian masters don't care what you think. They're going to give you her. Yep. Let's slide, old Gavin, he's earned it. He's earned his turn. On up to run for the presidency next. Watch. Who else is going to come out? Big Mike going to come out the shadows? Hillary done old and washed up and like done. Like, no, it's going to be Newsom, I feel. He's going to have the strongest chance. He will be in that race at some capacity. He will be running. You watch. Against who? J.D. Vance? I don't know. Trump was asked on an interview here recently, is J.D. Vance the man that is like your protege that you're going to pass the torch off to? And he said no. He goes, I don't know. He goes, he may be. He goes, it's too early to tell. So, the way Trump does things, strong arms all these people, he's like, even if he's supposed to be, I'm not telling him he is, like, keeping him honest and making him, they're all controlled by the same Jesuit hand, by the same room full of guys got black top hats. If you missed it, sure enough. And there's huge protests going on up there. If you guys, these are like bigger protests than I've seen from anyone in some time against Trump and Musk here. People showing up. I have to say I've never seen nowhere near like this size. It's always just like a fraction of this, maybe a quarter of this. This is up at the National Mall. Capitol right there. It's a sea of people. It's a large amount of people. Showing up against Trump and against Musk, against Doge, against all this, because on the other side, all these people are getting their jobs wiped out. And even people from this side, apparently. I've seen all kinds of videos. People that were like, yeah, I voted for Trump, but, today I don't have a job. And there's nothing I can do. I got a family to feed, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And, they're breaking down. And it's like, hold on a second. Like, this is the stuff people are not seeing. Everyday people just getting wiped out, like even good people just getting wiped out here, their jobs. No reason. Besides, they're gutting the government. Again, who's going to jail for this? They keep asking that question, but it's not going to get an answer. And I did not realize that the leader of the UK is a full-blown socialist. Until tonight, when it said that the socialist leader of the UK, and I'm like, oh, what? For real? And this dude's he don't care. Well, look what he's talking about doing now. He wants to put British troops in Ukraine. So that's right, just send them over there to be cannon fodder. Like, dude, like, I'm not going to stand for that. Like, I won't tolerate it. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know, but I'm going to voice my opinion and say that I don't stand for it. Like, that's garbage. Like, nobody should be getting sent off to this war. It should be ending. And he's ready to send. I mean, look what they've done to the UK, just like Ireland and everywhere else. It's not even the same no more. You go in there and it's just inundated with foreigners. And you couldn't, like Ireland, you can't even tell that it's Ireland anymore. You don't even see Irish people in the streets. It's crazy. It's absolutely madness. And what's left of the native or natural people, like UK people, like you want to send them to the front line to get slaughtered? Well, how kind of you. For what? For what? For nothing more than to slaughter people. I'm telling you right now, that's all it is. It's all it is. I mean, seriously, I'm not just saying that. It is. It's just to send them in there and slaughter them. I see the video all the time. Front lines, in the trenches. It's horrifying. It's every day, all the time. Both sides just getting blown apart. Like it's a video game. It's disgusting. I mean, they have drones in HD flying right up to these guys. Be like, I mean, right up to the guys will look up and like you'll see their face, boom, gone. And then they'll have a drone sitting up behind it, watching it, filming it as well. So they'll send a swarm of drones, one sitting there filming all the attacks, and that's the footage you end up seeing. And clips of kamikaze right into the people. And man, guys coming around corners, face to face, and just the guy that can get the gun up and pulling the trigger in the trench. This is guys coming around a corner of a trench, broad daylight, and like there's and boom, like whoever pulled the gun. Oh man, it's war. Definitely the worst thing on this planet. It's the height of evil. Just mass murder. The excuse to do just that, to mass murder. You convince these guys that they got to go out into these battlefields. Guys that really don't even want to do it. They're being rounded up and shipped out there to go kill each other. It's highly satanic, man. Like, nobody even is in it and wants to do it. Wants to be doing it. But this is part of a plan a long time ago that the same people that the higher religious ups that control Trump and them, so that they were going to make this whole area a new place for them. Almost just like a newer Israel. In Ukraine, and that these people were chosen for liquidation. And that's how they view this. And it's never going to stop. Not at this rate. The war machine is here. You've got Trump backing Netanyahu in their war machine. Who's going to stop at this point? They're down to their last boogeyman, Iran, right? And look here. They're sending over not even conventional weapons. They're literally sending over missile systems disguised as shipping containers. As you can see right here. So now what? Now what's Russia going to do? If it suspects that there's missiles on something, they're going to start striking all types of different stuff. They have got the hypersonic missiles that no one can stop yet. Let's not forget about that. And I thought that they were talking peace here. Like, what's up with peace? Talking peace with Putin and all this, but you're sending shipping container missiles. It's like... So Zelensky admits that he begged Trump to meet in person. And what this dude just did is like treasonous. He has basically said it's martial law. and he's canceled elections because he's figured out that exactly what Russian general said, that like he's done. Like they're just simply going to hold a vote and they're going to vote him out, and that's it. Well, he canceled the vote. And others are like, dude, there's no way. That's like dictator-like. He's like, there's no way. Trump doesn't seem to like him. And, Trump is trying to be the man of peace and play this peacemaker. Well, Zelensky's got a problem with that. And he's like, no, you're not striking up any deal without me there. And he just doesn't seem to understand that it's over. Like, his time's up. They're saying that he's going rogue. He wants to burn Ukraine to rule over the ashes. He needs to keep the war and martial law going to stay there, to keep his grip on power. And that's essentially what's going on now. If this whole thing fades out, he loses his power, his position, like all that. He's going to lose it anyway. The U.S. and Russia are holding peace talks in Saudi Arabia without Ukraine. Okay? Without them, regardless of what he says. Everyone's going ahead with these plans. And it seems Europe and Zelensky throw a temper tantrum because they've been sidelined. So Trump has literally said, look, I don't like you. You didn't accept our deal. Trump wants them to pay like $500 billion in assets to pay back all this money that was sent because of the war. And he said no. Zelensky's like, no. And the United States says that the Trump admin is pursuing a big bargain that includes Belarus in tandem with Ukraine peace efforts. So not only are they looking to go in and strike up this big deal with Russia, but they're going to involve Belarus as well. I tell you what, if Trump does pull this off, it would be huge. It would be showing that he stopped World War III, basically. And if he brings, as he said, if you bring Russia back into the G7, it would be the G8 then. Like it was. Trump said all these things. It said that we won World War II together. He was saying all these things, and that he just makes it seem like it's just that easy. I mean, like, all right, then, like, do it then. Like, if you could just pull Russia over here to be best buds with this all of a sudden again. I'm not going to roll it out. The world is a stage, and it happened before. You talk about a rug pull on China. Was that the plan the whole time? You were never going to take on this whole monster of Russia and Pakistan and Iran and China, India, and like all these countries. Like, there's just no way. You had to have one of those, like, not be at war with you. Russia would be the key one. It's all a ruse, man. That's why they call them theaters of war. Seriously, it's what I've learned over the years, for sure. Look at this. You ever wanted to find one of them curtain drop moments, as I call them, that stand out as a defining moment? This whole thing's a game. It's rigged. It's a lie. It's a setup. And here's proof. The EU has continued to buy Russian fertilizer throughout the war. When you are at war with someone and you're trying to kill them and every single thing about them, their government, their everything, their military, their generals, all this, you're not over here on the sidelines buying stuff off of them. It's not the reality of a real world war. This is where it all is, and it's not just here. Russia is responsible for feeding natural gas and energy into Europe that literally keeps them alive during the winter. That literally keeps them alive in the winter. And they're selling them fertilizer and a ton more things. This thing is a ruse. They want you to think that these guys are going to go to war and this and that garbage. Russia could just cut them off right here and they'd all die. In the winter. In a hard winter. You just cut them off strategically and they'd all freeze. Send them no fertilizer and then follow that up or vice versa. Oh, they're done. Never had to fire a single shot. That's how boss hog Russia has it. Because they do. Not to mention it's backed by a ton of nukes, more than any in the world. So, this whole freaking charade is garbage, man. We'll sit there and say you're on the verge of World War III with them when, like, your life depends on everything from them. Like, get out of here and just shut the fuck up. So sick of it. It's all lies and deception. Do you see now? Do you see? See, once you get to this level and you can see right through it all, it's just, you just want to throw a rock at it. Like, done with it. Like, this is garbage, man. And it is. But this is what it is. It's better to have it figured out than to just keep on strolling along like ignorant. And it gets more frustrating the more that you figure out, because then you realize, like, what are we going to do? Like, there's not even any good guys to fight this fight. I always say be the change that you seek, but we need a couple billionaires. We need some money, man. You know, get your money right before you go to war type deal, before we could do anything. Like, how are we even going to compete at this point? Like, it's stupid. It's like this, there is a moment in time here to where maybe there's people out here that would make moves, but there's no support, there's no funding to even do it. Even if people were willing to lay their life on the line, to go all out, legendary, there's no funding to do it. So, it's just a squandered moment, and it's pathetic, to be honest. It's, where's all the patriots at, this and that? Everybody's blinded by the light, man. Too much winning. Too much winning while they're going through your taxes. What's Netanyahu say to Rubio? Let's finish the job against Iran. So here you see where this is going, right? It's not over. You knew it. You know, Trump got in there. Iran was the target. We'll see where it goes. Bombs against the Trump regime here. Well, there's been a lot of back and forth here with this border czar. I was going to play a clip of him, but I really can't stand even hearing him talk. I can't, since day one, I've seen that, he said, I don't know, I've had this bad premonition that all these strike teams, will be used against us as soon as they announce bird flu or something like that. As soon as they announce the next lockdown thing, he will be the thing of your nightmares. The same man, Homan, that's in charge of these strike teams, going and rounding all these illegals up. Everyone's cheering on. Again, certain series of events, lockdowns commence, and all this. Guess who becomes the hunted? Guess who becomes the hunted? That quick. And I would argue that is the reason this whole thing has been set up to begin with. It was all for this moment. All this. To set the situation up for this year. They didn't smuggle all these people in here, these millions, for a rigged election. A record number of people in here. They didn't. So what did they bring them in for? What'd they bring them in for? To really waste time and spend millions, turn around, try to round them all up? I don't think so. I think it's to cover for what's to come, and it's all in place. It's already done. And remember, they war gamed this a decade ago. They got ready for this in the biggest drill of its kind ever. And there hasn't been one like it since. It's now live, and that's Jade Helm. It's now live, and our military is going to war. If you didn't see the clips that I had over on X, we have set up shop. Mexican government has greenlit basically our government to incur into Mexico to take on these cartels. And it's just about to go down. Like, it's just about to go down. Like, they are mounted so hardcore. Just go look at the clips, man. Like, there's so much military arsenal being stacked up at our border and all around in the waterways. They're flying recon over it all over the place. Dude, it's a war zone. I told you. There's a reason why he said we were in a state of emergency on day one. But again, everybody's off in their own little world doing their little thing. They're not even paying attention to what's going down there. The full-blown war has been brought to America here at our border for the first time in your life. And I don't think it'll ever end in your life. All by design. There's a surge of Romanian illegal immigrants coming across the border from Canada into Maine. Wonder what's up with this now. We start getting searches of like certain individuals, man, and they come across all military-age men, all this and that. It's like, what's going on? Okay, so we've got them from everywhere, from Africa, from freaking China, Romania, like you name it, man. And look here, the feds are targeting Trinidad Aragua gangbangers across Montana. That's right. Take a trip to Yellowstone or something up there, you're going to run into Trinidad Aragua. It's craziness, man. Spread them everywhere. That was part of the plan, so they could go in and infiltrate all these places. People freaking out, seeing ICE come in and arrest people and hauling them off, and they're all shook. It's like, man, I try to tell you this is going to happen. Missouri has a bounty hunter bill for illegal immigrants, and it would create a state version of ICE. So, here you go. Again, keep in mind what I said about lockdowns and bird flu. They are now creating a state version of ICE, so it ain't just got to be Homan and them. They can have their own state team, and everyone's supporting it because of this reason, right? So now it's been created. But as soon as, again, the other shoe drops, who becomes the hunted then? Whoever's not jabbed. And everyone that runs around calling themselves a pureblood out there. I mean, I salute all of you. But the true test has yet to even happen yet. And I swear I don't even think half will survive it. Or shall I say, pass it. They'll submit. You can see here, this next one, this is pretty crazy. Indiana proposes to absorb 33 counties from Illinois. And this is big. You've heard about it out on the West Coast. Some rumblings here and there. But you have 33 counties that have voted to explore secession. This is pretty big. They've talked about this leaving Chicago and the whole surrounding area to itself. And then all the rest of the area being a different, state basically. But if they can get absorbed into Indiana right there, right next to it, then it looks like that's what they're doing. They're trying for. I've thought the same thing about my state. There's counties down in Virginia that I could see easily wanting to do the same thing. Big differences between how states operate out there, man. Yeah, purebloods is a rarity. It's going to be even rare after trying times. And this brings me to the main story here for tonight. This has to do with the big update here on the death and the murder, assassination of Tupac Shakur. This is pretty big. After all this time, I always wondered, especially with P. Diddy getting taken down, always being talked about as being one of the main characters tied into this. You wondered, okay, is he going to finally get charged with, supplying the $1 million and all this stuff to take out Tupac? Because all this sexual stuff that's going on with him is one thing. That's not murder. Murder, Biggie, Tupac, both of them. He was right there when Biggie got killed, just how, in a vehicle, just like how Tupac got killed right next to Suge. Heavily connected because it was pulled off by the same team. Okay? Here's the thing. For years and years, have only been able to point to where the trail led me. And the trail led me back to death row and the feds. And that's who killed both of them. No one ever wants to say that. Once you go dig them files up too, they're Doge. Who really killed you? You want to cough up all this stuff on JFK and all this other crap? Who killed Tupac and Biggie? You don't know. Alphabet gangs got it all on film. See, this is the damning things. I've watched so many interviews about Tupac in the past decades in trying to solve this riddle and this murder. Because Tupac woke me up with Illuminati. When he dropped the album Illuminati, I'm like 16 years old. I'm asking myself, what does this mean? He's the dawn of killing something. And I go and I type it in, kill Illuminati. And they began. I see who the Illuminati even was. The thought of the idea of it. I'd never heard of them before in my life. I was 16. But guess who introduced it to me? And who was wanting to kill him? That's how I took it. Clearly. Yeah, and they got him. They clipped him. And in my young years, they tried hard to make me and a whole bunch of other people think Tupac was alive because of the way they played it. Because his last album was of Machiavelli, someone that faked his death to kill his enemies. So it went well with these rich label guys and people the feds that were plotting on this whole thing. It was a perfect opportunity. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for the coffee. It was a perfect thing because they pushed his last album, Machiavelli, and it pushed the idea. Everyone was like, what's Machiavelli? It was someone that faked their death. And it was the whole thing of he was still alive. He had to. If he faked his death, and he's alive. I would say my man had a plan, but they clipped it. They clipped him. They got him. Just like they got JFK. Just like they got John Lennon. Just like they got all of them. Anyone that was awake, anyone that could see the beast for what it was and was going at it, they got him. And that's what Pac was doing. They woke up. Him and Biggie both. They seen what was going on. Tupac dismantled everything that was going on around him the weeks right up to his death. He did away with his lawyers. That was a conflict of interest anyway. His personal lawyer being the death row lawyer, which was super shady. And he fired him. Well, Tupac was in trouble at the time. And the one last thing that they set up for Tupac to have to do to get out of trouble is he had to come perform at Club 662 for a charity concert, which made no sense. Which was their excuse to get him in Vegas that night, the night that he got killed. He had to be there. To basically, it's like a probation type thing. Okay? And thank you, Vaughn. Much love. So Pac had to do it. He was like, Kenner was the lawyer that he fired. And Pac wanted an audit. He wanted a Doge. He wanted an audit on his payments because he felt he was not getting paid right. That money was missing. That Shook was just like, throwing it, oh, you want a car? Here's a car. And would let Pac ride the car. But the car wasn't in Pac's name, ever. It was part of the ploy. And see, this is the shystiness of Death Row, of Suge Knight. He put him up in a house and all these things, but the houses and the cars, they weren't in Pac's name. The assets were not in their name, they were in Death Row's. You see? So that was shady, as it gets. Pac caught on all this stuff, and he was fitting to leave. Anyone that was close to him that you ever see an interview on will tell you the same thing. So, here enters the big news for the day at 11:11. Much love, everybody out there. Reggie Wright Jr. has now been listed as a suspect in this whole thing. And this is pretty bombshell because the guy's on YouTube all the time on this little channel they made called Bomb First, yapping his gums off all the time, making money off all this stuff about Pac all these years. And here are some really critical things about it. He was the head of security for Death Row. Okay? He also got in a lot of trouble and should be in prison, but he's not. And when he didn't go to prison for getting in trouble, getting busted, which is not a secret, it's known, and he showed up on YouTube making YouTube videos, I knew immediately they're putting you to work. Isn't that right, Reggie? They're putting you to work over here on YouTube to spit a narrative. Now they sold you out. Then they tossed you under the bus, dummy. Much love, someone. Thank you for the coffees. You follow little Greg Kading a little too far, right? In his narrative. And see, when I heard Reggie Wright one day say, oh, whatever Greg Kading's pushing, that's what it is. I'm like, what did he say? Whatever Greg Kading's pushing, that's what it is. Like, dude, you sound like a sellout to him, like he's your boss. Like, giving you orders. Like, some of us ain't stupid. So now I knew it. I knew they had him. I knew they had Reggie Wright Jr. And they had him doing videos, pushing a narrative of what they wanted. Okay? And it worked. It worked all this time, all these years. The East Coast, West Coast beef, everything that they created and fabricated out of murdering these two. They blew the whole thing up. Jimmy Iovine was involved. Jimmy Iovine's first words to Suge after Tupac died was, you hit jackpot. Suge even admitted this. Said Jimmy Iovine looked at me and said, I hit jackpot. Nothing sells better than a dead man. Did you hear that? Nothing sells better than a dead man. Oh, yeah? And these guys banked off Tupac. Machiavelli, all that stuff exploded right when Pac died. It was a pretty crazy thing. And then Biggie followed it. His last album was Life After Death. And they got him the same way. And the rest is history. They were sacrifices. They were literally sacrificed in the game. Okay? So, how did this whole thing go down with Pac? One man was in charge of all the security around death row, and that's Reggie Wright Jr. And even though he was fired by Tupac from being his personal bodyguard before this, he was still death row's guard. Thank you, JB, for the coffee. He was still death row's security. So, Tupac's main bodyguard, rest in peace, Frank Alexander. They tried to tell us for years he committed suicide. Now it's coming to light. That's not the case. Potentially not the case. Imagine that. He was very vocal, and Reggie Wright always trashes him. And I'm like, why? Why are you so hard on Frank? Why are you so hard on this deceased guy? Why are you so always trashing him? Well, it's because Frank spoke the truth, and he exposed Reggie Wright, and he's so butthurt and pissed off about it. Because Frank said that when they were there that night, and everything was going down, that Reggie Wright and them were in charge of all the security. Tupac's other bodyguard, Michael Moore, rest in peace, he's dead too. It's crazy how many of these guys are dead. He said, and it's on camera, that he was sitting there and he heard Reggie Wright Jr. come over their personal, remember the old Motorola's, the two-ways, where you just two-way, like a person's phone. You could have like 2 or 3 phones hooked up and you could two-way them. It was just like a walkie-talkie all the time people were using. Well, that's what they had. And soon as Tupac got shot, guess what they heard come over their radios? Got him. And I knew right then who did it. And they killed him, Michael. They killed Frank. They killed everybody that's seen it. Gaddafi was a witness in the car behind it. They killed him. It's the feds. And here recently, Tupac's real dad came out. It's crazy how much he looks like him. And he was talking about it. He was talking about their real relationship and all this stuff and clearing the air about some of the things Pac said in his music bad about him and their relationship before he died. And he says, I know who killed Tupac. And he goes, I know who also knows. He goes, that's the feds. And he said it. He goes, you know how I know this? Because I know for a fact, because it's my son, that they were following him that night. Meaning, they were surveilling him. And they were filming the entire thing. And his dad sat there and knows this. So the feds were there watching. They have this thing solved. They were on the rooftops like they are in every city that I go to. Anytime anything pops off. Any big event, any protest, who's the guys on top peeking their heads over the top with binoculars? The feds. Every single time. And there's something going down. There's an op going down every time that's the case. Funny, these same feds, same security, same everyone was there for not only Tupac's death, but also Biggie's. The man that was put in motion to do the hit on Biggie, it was all put into motion through Reggie Wright Jr. the same way, the same crew, same orchestration. The hits were actually done almost identical with hitting Tupac and Biggie both getting shot in shotgun, sitting in the passenger seat. And it's just come to light. It's now known. So when you gather all this information up, you take a step back and you're like, okay, I see what happened. I see clearly. It's everything I ever thought. It's everything I've ever said. All this here tonight is just a clarification. It's just like it's a stamp of approval on it, like it was always correct. Now that they're drawing Reggie Wright Jr. in as an official suspect, he can yap his mouth over there all he wants. Like, you're done, dude. Your card's pulled. You're going down in this whole thing. He thought he was going to get away with it. He thought that, and I'm sure he's got it. I don't want to call it a proffer agreement, but he's got some kind of deal with them for sure, because he avoided jail and he's all of a sudden been blasted on YouTube to push a narrative, and it's gone now. Now that he's officially a suspect, this changes everything. What's going to happen now is they're going to pull out in court everything that I've told you. You watch. At some point, the Michael Moore thing is going to be brought up. Gotcha. All this stuff. And he can't just sit there and laugh it off and just keep on pushing like he does in his YouTube videos. No, it's going to be a jury, a trial. It's going to be the whole world raining down. You know, and they tried to pin this on Keefe D. And Keefe D, he had nothing to lose in all this. Yeah, he's hemmed up now, but they're pinning Keefe D down on a confession, whether he did it or not. He said in a book, in a written confession, that he was there in the vehicle when it happened. He tried to always say it was Orlando Anderson, which they've said that it's not. It was someone else. I'm telling you, it was a government hit. You'll never know the man, just like you'll never know the exact man and everything, but many other assassinations. They got him. I almost think that's as much closure as like one's gonna get. You're never gonna get the gunman, the triggerman in that case, and they're probably dead, long dead anyway. To be honest with you, I think just knowing who orchestrated it is what counts. The criminal mastermind, that's what counts, right? Well, we know who that is. This is almost a case closed moment for me. Like, I've known this. This is where I've hung it the whole time. This is where the road ended with all the evidence. It's right here. And I just wonder how long Reggie Wright was going to continue to squirm and get away out here with this fed dude asking him questions on his videos, and everything is set up. It just... Well, guess we know now. We'll see what happens. Everything I told you tonight should come out, and they can't stop it. All these things, all these people that have been killed, everybody connected to him. I could go on for hours, to be honest with you. And all the stuff circles back around to Reggie. Even to when people were shot and killed apparently they were in Reggie Wright's vehicle, truck at the gas station. When it happened. All these different death row deaths and shootings that went down. And how has Reggie Wright got away with all this? How? I think I forgot to mention, if you didn't already know, he's a cop. He's a cop. And his daddy was the main cop in Compton when they came up. Oh, yeah. Reggie Wright Sr. Enough said. Right there. So they've been protected in that aspect. Even when they've gotten in trouble, like I said, he should have went to prison, but he didn't. He was out here doing YouTube videos. I ain't no fool. They got you working. I'm not stupid. You're working it off. It's obvious. You can get butthurt and call us crackers and all your racist crap all you want, dude. That's just what you are. You're just mad because world's finally got you figured out. And, the thing with Keefe D, he could have lightweight walked on some of this stuff if he wouldn't have wrote a written confession in a book. So they're gonna do everything. They're gonna pin it on him. They're gonna pin it on him. Whatever comes back on Puffy here, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Watching court in this whole thing is going to be very interesting because now Puffy can't hide away somewhere and refuse to be summoned or subpoenaed or anything like that. No, they got him. If this is a high-profile case, they'll bring his ass in chains into the courtroom. Oh, yeah. Prayers up, Susu. Thank you for the coffees and much love. They'll be bringing Diddy into the courtroom for this one. And this situation, this one here, this would put him away behind bars. I mean, he's like in there for life. Don't get me wrong, but murder, even though rape and, you know, these orgy parties or whatever you want to say, it's bad stuff. I mean, murder tops that. And he ain't even faced the murder yet. The murder charges, the heat yet. And why would they let him slide? I mean, why not? Like, if you were them, if you were the feds and you were looking for someone to pin all the stuff on, well, you've got your men right here. Now, Reggie Wright, you got Keefe D, Reggie Wright, and P. Diddy all in the palm of your hand. You see how they sell them all out? You see how they all get done in the end? It's not worth it. Any young gun out there thinking about going to the dark side, better see how they do. Was it worth it? I'd ask Shook that too. Was it worth it? He's gonna say, "Well, I didn't kill Tupac." I'm like, "Well, I didn't say that you did, but you surely, he knows more than what he says. He could have put away the shooter, a lot of this stuff a long time ago." I got so many questions. Why does the Machiavelli album start off and say Shook shot me? That'd be the one question I ask him. Who put that there? Who's the producer of that album track? Who approved that? Did you approve that? You approved them saying Shook shot me. Like, did you know it was there? Who slid that in on you? Well, if you didn't know it was there, who had the ability to do that? It was Reggie Wright. It was Reggie Wright Jr. That's who. He's done. Gavel down on him. Guilty as charged, as far as I can see. Let a jury of peers find it the same way. Not this dude's a suspect. Somebody's going down for this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just rest in peace to everybody that dies at the hands of the beast. Every one of them, man. They've killed so many. JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, Marilyn Monroe, John Lennon, Tupac, Biggie, I mean, you just name it. Anyone that ever rose and had dirt, it was a threat. They assassinated. Those are legends to me. That rode against the beast. Are people perfect? No. No. No one is. But it's who had it in them to fight the good fight. That is what counts. Especially when you had a chance to just keep your mouth shut and live the good life. Those that fight the good fight and sacrifice it all for it. Salutes. Deanne, man, thank you for the coffees. Much love. Okay, I will definitely keep my eyes open for it. I don't know if any of in my lifetime here we're ever going to get shooters named and all that stuff. I don't know if you're ever going to get that justice. Like, I mean, same with, look at JFK. Look at how long it's been strung out to here, and you still can't. It's ridiculous. They could do the same thing here, and they usually do when their men are implicated. That's how you know that they're tied into it too. When they keep doing stuff like that, pushing it back, pushing that, trying to sweep it under the rug. They'll throw every person they can under the bus before a single Fed or a cop will take that stand. Do you understand me? And they will. They'll throw all the celebrities under the bus. And they'll take all their money and all their goods and all that other stuff as well. Anyhow, much love, everybody. Let me check this poll before we close this down for the night. I said, is the gold in Fort Knox? And you said 12%? Yes. 88%? No. So we're in the poll on that. And ended up being 87% and 12%. Majority believe it's not in there. So for 1,000 votes, good consensus. Teleportation is real. Yes, baby chupacabras. So much love, everybody. Brings me to the end of another one. Belfast in the house. Salutes. All my cats. The UK, Ireland, across the pond, period. People check in from Japan, New Zealand, Canada, Mexico, all across the states. The islands, man, wherever you guys are at. I hope you're doing good. I want my gold coin too, Scotty. Yeah. Thank you for all the love, guys. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for all the super chats. Everybody that's new to the underground, welcome. And thank you for the coffees. I can't thank you guys enough. Your support, man, it means more than I can even say. You guys truly helped keep things going, man, for me, and be there through rough times. It's appreciated to the fullest. Always showing up for the streams. Appreciate it more than you know. So I look to be back for the next one on Wednesday, going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here, covering all the latest news and chaos. Eon checking in, and he's just legendary. Always coming in, showing support, man. Some of you guys are just that legendary. And Eon, especially, top of the list there, brother. You're just relentless. Can't thank you enough. Really can't, man. I'll be back Wednesday, though. God willing. And if he doesn't return in the coming days, we'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Much love and God bless. D.E. Fitz, Deanne, all the mods, D. White, Hoodie Ross, Tacos, Tooge. Everybody, much love. Much love, Pixie, Joe, Susie Q, David, J. Quinn, Juice, Joseph, Gorilla, Bella, Brian, my knights, RJ, Mayhem, Davey S, much love. Jay from the Ville.